Chapter 2 of One Third Off. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recorded by Brian Ness. One Third Off by Irvin S. Cobb. Chapter 2. Those Romping Elfin Twenties. It has been my personal observation, viewing the matter at close range, that nearly always fat, like old age, or a thief in the dark, steals upon one unawares. I take my own case. As a youngster, and on through my teens and into my early 20s, those romping elfin 20s, I was, in outline, what might be termed dwindly, not to say slimmish. Those who have known me in latter years might be loath to believe it, but one of my boyhood nicknames (I had several, and none of them was complimentary, but all of them were graphic) was Bonesy. At 16, by striping myself in alternate whites and blacks, I could have hired out for a surveyor's rod. At 21, I measured 6 feet the long way, and if only mine had been a hook nose, I should have cast a shadow like a shepherd's crook. My avocation in life was such as to induce slenderness. I was the city staff of a small-town daily paper, and what with dodging round gathering up items about people to write for the paper, and then dodging round to avoid personal contact with the people I had written the items about for the paper, I was kept pretty constantly upon the go. In our part of the country, in those days, the leading citizens were prone to take offense at some of the things that were said of them in the public prints, and given to expressing their sense of annoyance forcibly. When a high-spirited Southern gentleman, regarding whom something of a disagreeable nature had appeared in the news columns, entered the editorial sanctum without knocking, wearing upon his crimsoned face an expression of forthright irritation, and with his right hand stealing back under his coat skirt, it was time for the offending reporter to emulate the common example of the native white-throated nuthatch, and either flit thence rapidly or hunt a hole. Since Prohibition came in and a hiccup became a mark of affluence instead of a social error as formerly, and a loaded flank as a sign of hospitality rather than of menace, things may have changed. I am speaking, though, of the damper early 90s in Kentucky, when a sudden motion toward the right hip pocket was a threat and not a promise, as at present. So what with first one thing and then another, now collecting the news of the community and now avoiding the customary consequences, I did a good deal of running about hither and yon, and kept fit and spry and stripling thin. Yet I ate heartily of all things that appealed to my palate, eating at least 2 kinds of hot bread at every meal (down south we say it with flowers), and using chewing tobacco for the salad course, as was the custom. I ate copiously at and between meals, and gained not a whit. End of chapter 2, recorded by Brian Ness.